Credit where credit is due. When Dr. James Franklin gave Betty a trash bag, called it Aftercare, and sent her home, the officials actually prosecuted him for her death. Good on them. This is Christina with the Sisyphean Journal, and today is February 25th.
Again, it's February 25th. I did one video about a bunch of illegal abortion deaths. And now I am going to look at a really, really seriously unusual situation, which was a doctor being held accountable for what he did in a legal abortion death. And of course, some of this might have to do with the fact that it happened back in 1981 when the Roe versus Wade, anything goes, was less than 10 years old. So people were taking abortion deaths a little bit more seriously than they do now. This is a 26-year-old woman named Betty, and she went to James Franklin at the abortion clinic of Denver, in Denver, Colorado. And her sister Mary had dropped her off at the clinic around 8 o'clock on the morning of February 22nd. But that afternoon, Mary called the clinic and talked to Betty, who said she'd had some complications. So Mary went to pick Betty up and found her pale, weak, in a lot of pain and clutching at her abdomen. So they got back to the apartment, and Mary was helping Betty out of the car and noticed a blood stain on the seat. So she decided, instead of taking Betty to her own apartment and leaving her there, she was going to take Betty home with her. But the morning of February 25th, they called an ambulance to take Betty to the emergency room, where she was found to have gone into total cardiorespiratory arrest and was pronounced dead shortly after arriving. The autopsy revealed that Betty had died from a massive infection, and this is going to be gross. The infection originated from, quote from the medical examiner, a partially truncated and macerated fetus, close quote. That means that the fetus had been partly dismembered from the bottom part, probably had taken off the legs and possibly the pelvis as well. And macerated means it's kind of starting to have skin slippage from rotting, essentially decomposing. Now, according to Betty's family, Dr. Franklin knew that he hadn't removed the entire fetus. He gave Betty a trash bag and told her that whatever came out, she should collect it in the trash bag and bring it back to him. And probably because of that, he was arrested. He told a grand jury that he didn't perform the abortion. He said that he had examined Betty, found the decomposing foot and ankle of the fetus protruding, and sent her to the hospital, which doesn't make any sense because he wouldn't have sent her home for several days. Also, when she was examined at the hospital, the fetus was protruding from her uterus head first, which means that Franklin wouldn't have been able to see its ankle. So he was actually prosecuted and convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to prison for 3 years. And this possibly deterred him from doing any more abortions, or maybe even getting his medical license back, because I haven't found any kind of trouble he's gotten into since he was held accountable for Betty's death.